Mm.
All right. So, folks, thank you for tuning and checking out this video. I'm with Michael Byrne. My house just burned on fire, so there's a painful connection there. But we kind of interviewed each other like a year ago, so I'd love to know what have been kind of two of the major changes, either with your company, with the mask, your perspective about sleep, what you're observing about sleep in the population, but like, what are like the two things that come to mind when you're like, since I talked to Nick, I feel or think differently about A and B.
Yeah, and two big changes in the past year. I think sleep is becoming more understood. And the something we've talked about before is in a broader sense, but I think is becoming more evident is the getting the right sleep information and not just any sleep information. Finding out the proper sources and not,
Oh, you mean
following
like
videos.
TikTok? I shouldn't.
Yeah, just blindly follow anything on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I get the TikTok questions, and like I'm like, and I apologize to the TikTok developers, but there's something about your platform that does massive misinformation that people love to try, and then it's like it leads to these terrible things. But it's always TikTok. I'm like, I don't know what it is about them, from mouth tape
Mm,
to, I mean, riding on top of subways in New York. I mean, just crazy stuff.
yeah.
I think that one of the other ones is like, I don't even know the names of these things. It's like staying in bed for a really, really, really long time. There's some
Yeah.
name for it, but again, it's spread like wildfire on TikTok for college students to be
Yeah.
doing, and it's like, no, 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 no,
Please don't.
no, no, no. Actually, like again, sleep knowledge 2.0.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks the more the better. And it's
Yes.
like, oh no, 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 no. We now know after about 8 hours, like depending on the person, but around 8 hours, and if you're just excessively doing that every night more, you could be setting yourself up for other mental challenges like
Yeah.
depression and having a harder time with sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. The accurate information is more important. Find the right people to go
Right.
to. Yeah.
And what would be number two?
Number two, and generally speaking, around the sleep space.
Yeah, or it could be like your thoughts about the mask or the development of the mask or what's important about the product might have adjusted or changed or gotten more focused and narrow.
Yeah, I think in terms of the product development, something that's become more evident to us is the breadth of features that we are thinking of developing and we want to build, seeing how important that is for people. And it comes back to what we were discussing before. There's such a wide range of challenges for people, and they're all intertwined. And what would be that intertwined shamble for you will be different for me. So having the ability to launch a lot of features is amazing, but we got to get moving. Like there's so much that we need to build and develop to really help people the way we want to.
Yeah.
So we're really focused on accelerating that and making sure we're providing a full scope of
Yeah.
development. Not to overpromise, we'll get there. We're developing
No,
it.
I think
It's
I
it's
think
hitting us.
I think it's upon us to get comfortable with saying like we're the only ones doing this and it matches the problem perfectly.
Yeah,
And it's that's not true for everybody. And I
yeah,
think that's something I similarly came to was like, oh, we're offering something even more valuable than I thought we were
yeah,
to begin with.
yeah,
And maybe we need to do a better job of just leaning into that sort of owning like, no, we have the space on this one for now.
yeah,
They'll catch up,
yeah,
but we're going to keep going anyways because
yeah,
it's how we understand the problem.
yeah, 100%.
Cool. Um, oh, you actually already answered this one, which is what do you find pre-order clients most? That was the one I asked. Perfect. Um, what is the outlook for the next year in terms of your product? I guess in terms of timeline, when can people start to expect to get one in the mail?
Yeah.
And then um, kind of has client feedback already been a part of making changes, and how once it is something I can get, how will client feedback about their early use get facilitated, or will it be facilitated in some way?
Yeah, so we have a beta program where you have a closed list of people that want to test the product earlier. that's being filled. We have that coming in the next few months, so that's very soon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really down to certifications, wide range of variability within that. So we're, same thing. We're not trying to overpromise on this. We want to try and get it out as fast as we can, but it's not really our choice when the certifying body goes through that process and actually gives us the check marks. We don't get to choose that.
What are those certifying bodies?
There's FCC, CE, ROS, and UL that we're looking at for the product. There's a handful of like minor ones, like the battery management system, which we've already gone through. There's the ISO standards, including the medical grade textile fabric that I was referring to. We've accomplished those. We've got those going. They're check mark in, but we got more to go. So yeah, the beta program, they'll be getting there soon. We'll make some adjustments.
I volunteer. You heard it here first. I volunteer for the beta program. And if you're looking for leadership in this part of your life, you can just check out those guys' dancing legs, and you can see them. He's clearly excited about the work. So I'd say 1 year later from where you are now, you seem almost more excited than you were when we first talked.
Yeah, I can't wait to get this out.
Yeah.
We've brought a lot of it, the more development and more in-house as we've been building and growing, and it's been awesome to see all the minor details, the things that you think you wouldn't be excited about, like how you're running the wiring in the electronics board, and it's so exciting to watch us make those changes and those final tweaks.
That's neat.
Yeah, so that's all coming together. So it's not too far away.
Cool. Last question for you. If there was one thing that we didn't cover today that you felt like, oh, this really is important, either about the product or about your place in it or about the world in general, what would that be?
That's a great question. One thing we didn't cover. Yeah, and we talked a bit about the comfort.
I think, and I mean, it's the couch it more. You're in a unique group of people that, and I'll probably cut my part of this out, but there's an emerging group of people I now have been tracking for over a year, basically, who are all international to me, who are not part of the same company, who are not in the same location, but it's a group of leaders who are like yourself, who, if you found them, you would be amazed that they are as motivated about profit and sales as they are about making a difference in the world. And to me, this is the group that is going to be leading and making the changes that have to. And you're one of those people. And, when I was younger, I would have been like, no, regulations and things of that nature. Now I'm a firm believer that you and another group of invisible people is getting bigger and is out there. You're one of those people. Do you ever see yourself as someone who's leading part of a movement and change in terms of what's going on with sleep deprivation globally?
I like being the underdog, and whether we are or not, I'd rather view myself as I've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
And, as we make progress and move, all I can think about is the next steps. Where are we 5 years from now? And if a year passes, okay, great. Now there's a new 5 year. I'm just constantly going to be focused on what's to come. For me, what's most important is that we're constantly building and we're constantly adding more value. And I don't want to think about it as, well, we're, we're sitting in first place, just for argument's sake. Let's say we get there. We're sitting in first place. We'll just do like a couple new things this year. And maybe, we'll make the sensors slightly more accurate. Well, 3% improvement, and then we'll no, that's not what I want. I want something groundbreaking. Right. We're always working on something new, always something that's going to redefine the game. Because for me, that's where I'll get the energy and my passion.
I was going to say, it's very inspiring to hear that coming from someone from the private sector. For a lot of us who are like, the private sector doesn't really give a crap other than the bottom line. So again, like I said, you're in a unique little cluster of people who are rising through the ranks. And yes, they are underdogs. So you will still maintain your underdog position. Yeah. But it's very encouraging, and I try to get that out to as many people as possible to say, there are Michaels that exist. Yeah. They're there. And they're just like, I read the news every day, and the world is heading to more towards the darkness. And I'm like, actually, no, there is this group of people, and, Michael is one of them,
Yeah, and we're pushing really hard. I've made this very clear. The way we manage our money is to maximize the experiments of trying new things. So if for whatever reason we find a way to make more profit, that's going to new experiments, that's going to new features, that's going to new development. We're not here to make a massive profit at the bottom line. We're here to try new things. We're here to experiment. We're here to run through the scientific method and try new things and new features. So we're not looking for 30% profit margins and lining our pockets. We're here to build as many features as we can, not as many dollars as we can.
Well, I say to you on behalf of people who check out my material, it's awesome to know that that is where your position is,
Yeah.
and that people can start to trust certain people in the private sector maybe more than they would have in prior years.
The right people see money as a means to an end, not an end in itself. And for us, that end is optimizing sleep.